All right, so welcome back. Welcome to week 3 of your masterclass. And it's crazy. After today, we are already halfway through. We're halfway through our 6-week course. And I really want to remind you guys, before we get into tonight's topic on cancer awareness, I want to first just remind you to recheck yourself as we're almost halfway there. Check back in. If you think back to the first week, I had you guys really lay out in each essential area, what your goals are, where you need to kind of draw the line in the sand and make an improvement to your lifestyle, of make some changes that you know and have been thinking about, but you just haven't committed to doing. So check yourself, go back and reconnect to, okay, where do you need to improve your lifestyle? Because the goal is at the end of these 6 classes that your lifestyle has reached new, greater lengths, and you're living the 5 essentials to a whole another level. And it was exciting actually yesterday, as I've been in the clinic here, I was checking with some people that have been following along each week, and one person already just decided and committed that she's going to be working out. So she's working out 5 times a week, and she's already lost 10 pounds, which is amazing. And I wanted to share with you guys for some inspiration. I also talked to somebody yesterday who did the challenge from last week. If you didn't watch week 2, make sure to go back and watch that. Dr. Justin talked all about viruses and how to improve your immune system and just boost your immune function and efficiency. And the challenge from last week was to go cold turkey and cut out sugar, which includes grains, breads, rice, pastas, things that have added sugars to them. And excuse me, I just spoke with somebody yesterday who has lost 3 pounds since last week. And here's the deal. This is not about losing weight. We're not doing a weight loss challenge right now. But the reality is when you lose weight, when you make lifestyle changes, it resets your metabolism. It rebalances your hormones. It gives you more energy. It decreases inflammation. And the side effect of that is that you often lose weight when you start giving your body what it needs to function at its best. So excited to have you here. Make sure each week, as a quick reminder, that you are doing the attendance. So each week we're giving you a specific task to record your attendance. That helps us see if you watch the video. And so make sure that you're doing that. I actually just ordered the t-shirts yesterday. So if you complete and record your attendance for all 6 classes, you will be earning a t-shirt. And also you will be getting entered into win some awesome prizes. One of those being a year supply of vitamin D3. So today is all about cancer awareness, and I want to dive into this topic. We've got a lot to cover today, but I first, again, the goal is to point out truth. And I would say, when you talk about cancer, likely every single one of you has been affected to some degree, whether it's, a friend, family member, or yourself has, you've been directly know somebody that has been affected by this disease. And, I don't take that lightly. Those situations are often just tragic and sad, to go through personally. I watched my grandpa battle cancer. I lost one of my great friends in her 30s this past year to cancer. And it's very quickly, I would say, has very quickly become the most feared disease in our country. And I think the reason for that is when you think about cancer, it's this abstract thing of, I think, when you hear a diagnosis of cancer, I feel like people automatically, our brain pictures, chemo, radiation, hair falling out, being sick and stressed and, possibly even early death. And, there's often a high level of fear because there's no clear cure in most cases. So tonight, the more we can understand about what cancer is, what are some common things that can cause it to develop, we can walk away empowered, with the proper knowledge that gives you specific things that you can be doing, taking action on today to reduce your risk. And that's really what the goal of this evening is. So, whether it is, COVID, or fighting off a virus, or type 2 diabetes, or, fighting obesity, the more we understand about the cause, the more that there is that we can do to protect ourselves. And, starting off, I talked about this the first week, but we will never win the war on cancer if we continue to follow the disease model. It simply will not happen. If you look at cancer right now, most of the research, most of the billions of dollars that have gone into research, it is focused on finding a cure. It's focusing on finding a cure after we already have it. And if there is one thing that I could leave you guys with that you walk away with tonight, is recognizing that will never win the war on cancer. Like, we have got to change our mindset. So when you look at how we currently are managing and dealing with cancer in our country, in most cases, how it typically happens, and again, this has likely happened to people that they, were living their lives. They went in for a routine test or a yearly check, and something didn't check out right. And after more testing, they get the diagnosis and they find out that they have cancer. And right away, from there, the options are often, the answer is typically chemo, radiation, surgery, cutting the cancer out, poisoning it, burning it, doing whatever we can to kill the cancer cells, right? Which makes sense. Like, if you have a tumor in your body that's cancerous, like, yes, we would want to get it out. However, all of those treatments, not one of them is actually, like, it gets rid of the cancer and then you go into remission. And if that's where we stop, it is very likely that the cancer is going to come back. And the reason is because we never addressed why it was there in the first place. So we can get the cancer out, we can kill it, we can do chemo, radiation. But if we never figure out why it was there in the first place, we're not preventing it from coming back. I hope that makes sense. So that's what our goal is tonight. And, even some of the testing, going in for your routine, yearly mammogram or colonoscopy once you're 50 years old, that still isn't prevention. That's just early detection. So tonight, the focus has to become, we have to move from this disease model, a way of living, waiting until there's a problem and then trying to figure out what to do to fix it. We have to transition into the health model, which looks at, it makes sense to look at what are some of the common causes of cancer in the first place. If we can figure out what those are, we can make changes to our lifestyle and to our habits that can help us reduce our risk and prevent this from building in our bodies. So this is important because when you look at the reality of cancer right now, it is the second leading cause of death by disease in America. And the numbers are scary. The numbers are scary. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will get diagnosed with cancer at some point in their life in America. It's become the leading cause of death and disease in kids. It's second to accidents. This year in 2020, 1.8 million new cases will be diagnosed, and over 600,000 people are expected to die from cancer this year. That's 1,600 people a day. And, again, I mentioned this the first week, but amidst the COVID, outbreak right now, I think the latest numbers are right around 220,000 Americans have died in relation to COVID. And these numbers, they still dwarf that. Like, we need to be more concerned about what can we be doing to reduce our risk of cancer building in our bodies as well. So let's dive in. What is cancer? It's a very abstract thing, but here's what happens. So your body is made up of trillions of cells, which are constantly growing and dividing, right? So your body is constantly regenerating itself. So over time, old or damaged cells are replaced with healthy new cells. So I think it's something like every 14 days, you have, 7 to 14 days, you have brand new skin, right? Like, old cells are constantly being replaced with healthy new cells all throughout your body. So cancer is the rapid growth of abnormal cells, and it occurs when this process isn't working. So if you have an old or a damaged cell that starts replicating, and it's not destroyed and it's not replaced with a healthy new cell, that's when cancer can start to establish itself. So the reality is you have cancer in your body right now. We all do. I do, you do. We all have at any given time, we all have abnormal cells within our bodies. Most studies show it's anywhere from 100 to 10,000 cancer cells under normal conditions. When your immune system is strong, these cells are destroyed. That's exactly what your immune system, that's part of the role of your immune system, is to destroy weakened or abnormal cells or damaged cells within the body and replace them with healthy new cells. That's why your immune system and the function of your immune system is so vitally important, not just for fighting off bacteria and viruses, but for keeping your body functioning well. That's why we're doing this masterclass every single week, focusing on a different topic, but your immune system is really intertwined in all of these topics. So if the immune system weakens too much, or if it gets sidetracked too much, or if there's too much damage and it can't keep up, that is when cancer can establish itself. So diving into this, there's two main things that I want you to think about. Number one, we've got to stop causing damage to our cells. We've got to do everything that we can to stop causing the damage. And then number two, we need to be doing everything that we can to maintain a healthy and strong immune system. That is the answer to reducing your risk to cancer and keeping your body healthy and strong forever. So that is exactly where the 5 essentials come into play, right? So when you look at the 5 essentials in our goals and helping you make specific lifestyle choices and changes in these areas. When you look at the standard American life, just think about this for a second. Like the standard American is stressed out of their mind. They're super busy. They're being pulled in multiple different directions. They're not getting enough rest. They're chronically stressed. They are eating crappy, convenient foods to get through their day. And they're likely, working long hours, sitting at a desk. They're sedentary and they're exhausted. So they don't have, they're not getting enough exercise, and we're toxic. Like we're exposed. This is one of the biggest topics that I'm diving into tonight. We are toxic. Our bodies are being bogged down by all of the chemicals and things that we're being exposed to, which we're going to get into tonight. And most of us have horrible posture. We're sitting at a desk, hunched over during the day. And that's also putting stress on the one system that controls everything in our body. So when you think about and you picture like the standard American, even the standard American kid, very similar, right? Eating lots of sugar, exposed to toxins, bad posture throughout the day, sedentary, on electronics and technology, many hours throughout the day. It is no wonder that we're overweight, that we're unhealthy, that we are being burdened by heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and mental health issues, and the list goes on. So it's no wonder. So what do we got to do? We've got to make some changes. And I want to give you some more motivation and inspiration in these 5 areas. So again, recheck yourself. How are you making progress in these 5 essential areas, throughout this 6 weeks class? We've got 4 weeks until Thanksgiving. So there's still time to dig in and make some solid changes before the holidays are here. So looking at cancer itself in your lifestyle, we want to be feeding and supporting healthy body cells, not cancer cells in your body. So let's look at the characteristics of a healthy cell compared to a cancer cell. So healthy cells in your body, they use oxygen for fuel. They need oxygen to function properly. Your healthy cells can use glucose, sugar, or fat. They can also burn fat and ketones for energy. Your healthy cells, they prefer a slightly alkaline environment. Your healthy cells do not function well in an acidic environment. They need an alkaline environment, and they also need proper nerve supply. So this is interesting. Look at the characteristics of a cancer cell and what supports a cancer cell's growth. So cancer cells specifically use sugar for fuel. They can't burn fat for energy. Their singular fuel source is glucose. And we're going to talk more about that in a second. They also can be hypoxic cells. They actually don't need oxygen to survive. They prefer, most cancers, again, we're talking about most cancers. There's are some outliers, but most cancers prefer and proliferate in an acidic environment, and they also don't need proper nerve supply to be able to survive. So just looking at that alone, my question to you is, what type of cells are you supporting? Based off of those characteristics, looking at your lifestyle, what type of cells are you supporting in your body? And this is a good self-check. Where do we need to make some changes? Because we want to be fueling healthy cells, not cancer cells in your body. Create an environment for healthy cells to proliferate, and really be starving cancer cells from what they need to be able to function and proliferate. So number one, as we're diving into a couple of the essential areas, I want to piggyback off of Dr. Justin from last week and give you some more motivation and inspiration to cut out sugar. Go cold turkey and cut it out. You will starve cancer cells in your body if you do that. So we now know that cancer cells, most cancer cells have 8 times the affinity for sugar compared to a healthy body cell. They have 8 times more receptor sites on their cell for sugar. So when you consume sugar, it is going right to the cancer cells, and they are gobbling it up. And that's giving them fuel, giving them energy to continue to proliferate and divide. So we know this. If you actually look at a PET scan, it's a very common test for cancer to detect cancer. And the way that a PET scan works is it actually uses radioactive isotopes that have sugar molecules attached to them. And that gets injected into your body, and then they take a scan. And the sugar goes right to the cancer and it lights it up. The sugar helps to identify cancer. So that should give you some motivation to really draw a line in the sand if you didn't last week, and continue taking action steps to minimize added sugars, especially if it's things that are pure sugar like soda or Gatorade, different drinks. Anything that has added sugar to it, and then even really trying to minimize, rice grains, breads, pastas, all those things break right down into glucose. And this is one of the easiest ways to decrease inflammation. So if you look at what sugar does, it causes an acidic environment, it causes inflammation, and it fuels all of those things. Really is the best way for cancer to survive. So even you look at children, cancer's become, one of the leading causes of death by disease in kids. And the average American child is, consuming like 90 some grams of sugar a day. So we've got to check ourselves here, give you some more fuel to keep improving your lifestyle. Exercise. There's actually going to be a whole week dedicated towards exercise on the last masterclass. And exercise, when you exercise, it increases oxygen to your cells. Remember, your healthy cells need oxygen to function well. So when you exercise, it increases your circulation, it delivers more oxygen. Really an important thing too when we are talking about cancer. So I want to transition into the essential that I really want to dive into today, which is minimizing toxins. So at the beginning, I talked about thinking about your body as a bucket. And the more, toxins and junk, right, that gets into that bucket, or think about a bathtub, the more that goes in, eventually it will start to overflow. And that is the point to where your body can't keep up. And as I said earlier, if we want to protect ourselves from cancer, number one, we've got to stop causing damage. And number two, we need to maintain a healthy immune system. Toxins in our environment, in our homes, are totally filling up the tub right now. And we are bombarded. Our systems are bogged down. And this is sidetracking. Toxins that we're being exposed to is sidetracking our immune system, which is preventing it from replacing the damaged cells. On top of that, the chemicals and the things that we're being exposed to continues to cause more damage to our cells. And when our body can't keep up to that, our immune system can't keep up, that is when cancer proliferates. So we're going to dive into this. So there's 2 steps when it comes to minimizing toxins. Number one, if you think about this bathtub, first, we have got to shut off the faucet. I'm going to focus a lot about that today, is what are the top sources of toxins that you're being exposed to that are filling up the tub, right? So number one, we've got to shut those things off. Let's stop exposing ourselves to as many of the chemicals as possible. And then number two, I'll talk about at the end, is actually draining the tub, right? Like we can shut the faucet off, but now this tub sits here full with all this stuff. So number two, we want to really, drain the tub and make sure that we're pulling toxins that you've already been exposed to and that are locked up in your body out. So this is huge. And this just gives you an idea. When you really look at the amount of chemicals and toxins that we're being exposed to, it gets scary fast. So let me run through this list. There's 4 billion prescription drugs that are ingested just in the US every single year. 70,000 different chemicals are used commercially. Over 3,000 chemicals are added to our food supply and are allowed to be in our food supply. 10,000 plus chemicals are used in food processing, preserving, and storage. The EPA estimates that the air inside your home is far more toxic than the outside air. Also, USA Today reports that an average public water is contaminated with over 500 different chemicals. According to the Columbia School of Public Health, 95% of all cancer is due to diet and the accumulation of toxins. And when you look at the list that we just went through, that's scary. Like we are being exposed to toxins and chemicals on a daily basis at a very high rate. So today, we got to dive into this. And, something that is being studied a lot right now is genetics and cancer. There's the genetic testing that you can do. And the more and more that you look at the study of epigenetics, the good news is what they're finding is that very, very minimally are you genetically predisposed to cancer. So the study of epigenetics say that you may have the gene, but they're finding it's still your lifestyle. Your lifestyle still has the power to turn those genes on and off. And that's empowering, especially if you've done any genetic testing. Your lifestyle matters, and making these changes and these choices totally matters to reduce your risk. So 80% of all cancers they have found are attributed to environmental rather than genetic factors, including exposure to carcinogenic chemicals, many of which are found in our homes. And something that's happening right now is called toxic bioaccumulation. And when you look at, childhood cancers, the amount of cancer, developing in children is alarming. And logically, we would think, well, they aren't alive as long, right, as an adult who contracts cancer, later in life. How is it that they're getting cancer at such young ages? And there's something called toxic bioaccumulation that's happening here. A very alarming study was done on 10 different Americans who had no direct exposure to toxins in their lifetime. And the reason they had no direct exposure was because they were still in utero. So what scientists did is they tested the fetal cord blood that was going to babies in utero before they were ever even born. And what they found is very alarming. They found over 287 specific chemicals were found in the fetal cord blood of unborn babies. So many of those chemicals, there was 28 different, waste byproducts, 47 different consumer products, such as Teflon, Scotchgard, flame retardants, and 212 industrial chemicals and pesticides were found. So when you think about a baby, a brand new baby is born already being exposed to 287, on average, 287 different chemicals from day one. That drastically affects, the future. So if you're pregnant, if you, are a young woman and you plan to get pregnant someday and have babies, this is important. It is very important to be cutting out toxins and detoxifying now, before you get pregnant. And that will help protect the health of your future children as well. So let's dive in. Today, we want to expose the top toxins that you're being exposed to. And my goal is to give you a few action steps, a few different ideas that you can do to offset these things. So after the talk this evening, we're going to be posting a specific guide that has some different ideas and different recipes that you can follow for different cleaners and whatnot. We're going to be posting a whole resource guide on different products that you can use and replace yours with. So be thinking of that as we go. But let's dive in. I want you to let us know that you are here. This is your attendance for week 3. Before I dive into minimizing toxins and identifying the top sources, pick up your phone right now and text 952-229-8750 and text fearless. Because as we move through these weeks, our goal is that you become fearless when it comes to, cancer, viruses, disease. You're making changes today to build a fearless immune system that's going to protect you. So text 952-229-8750, text us fearless, and that will let us know that you attended week 3. So make sure to do that. So number 1, the top source of toxicity, let's dive in, is medication. Medication is the number 1 cause of toxicity in America. Number 1, over 70% of Americans are on a prescription drug chronically on a daily basis. So over 70% of people are actually directly ingesting medications every single day. Every drug has to be detoxified out of the body. And so the more drugs and medications that we're taking, your body has to deal with it, which is why there's often, obviously always side effects, even if you don't feel them, because that's the process that your body needs to go through to detoxify from these things. And so if you are using lifestyle drugs, this is something that, maybe you're not on antidepressants, or maybe you're not on a high blood pressure medication, but maybe you have, problems falling asleep, or you have chronic pain, you have chronic back pain, or you're getting acid reflux, or you're constipated and you're not going to the bathroom well. We call these things lifestyle drugs, that you're using medication for, to improve your lifestyle. So number 1, I want to, encourage you to check yourself if you're using any of those things, that you've got to stop and get to the cause, like constipation or not sleeping well or acid reflux. They're warning signs that your body isn't functioning well. So again, we got to get to the cause. And there's also different resources out there that can help you, bridge the gap as you continue to search for cause and improve your lifestyle to help with these things. There's different essential oils. If you're getting headaches, using peppermint, and different essential oils that help to relieve that, or even, tight muscles, instead of using biofreeze and rubbing chemicals on your body, there's other essential oils or natural things, pain relief, echinacea. There's different supplements and things that you can do to offset these things. If you have a specific concern that you're like, I need help with this, make sure you can private message us or have a consultation with one of our doctors, and we can help you in these areas to get to the cause, so you aren't continuing to cause damage to your body by being on a chronic medication. For those of you who aren't taking a medication, this is scary. This is a scary one. So you might not be taking medication yourself, but if you are drinking tap water, you are likely being exposed to medications through that, which is scary. So unfiltered tap water, the US EPA reports that cancer risks for people who drink chlorinated water, so city water, are 93% higher than people who don't. And so this is a very interesting topic. There's over 250 million pounds of active drugs are flushed into the water system, eventually making their way back to your house and your tap water. And I personally know some people who work in water filtration, and up until recently, it was not even measured, not even looked at, that there, like, pharmaceuticals weren't being targeted and filtered out of the water. But in recent years, actually right here in Minnesota, the Minnesota Pollution Agency actually tested 11 different lakes and rivers in the area, and they are finding never seen before chemicals and medications, traces of pharmaceutical drugs. So, a couple different ways. Number one, if you're flushing medications down the toilet. Number two, if you're consuming it, what they're finding, you consume it, you take it, your body, you're flushing some of it out, through the toilet, and that's making its way back into our body. So one of the top most common drugs that they found in recent years in Minnesota in our lakes and rivers was metformin, which is a medication for type 2 diabetes. So, water is important to your body. You should be drinking half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. So water filtration is huge. I wanted to give you a couple easy ideas, but taking some sort of action in this area is a huge, huge thing that can benefit your health long-term and on a daily basis. So a water filtration system that's very easy. You can get like an under the sink for your kitchen. So, at least, first change your drinking water, whatever water you're drinking. So even if you're doing your dishes, that's one thing, but you can get a easy under the sink water filtration system. We actually have what's called the Big Blue. It's the Aquasana brand that we have chosen. We're in a house that we'll be in for years. So we put whole house filtration in. So our showers, our drinking water, the sink, every water is filtered. So Aquasana is a great brand. You can also, again, just get the filtration for under your sink for your drinking water, but it is NSF certified. And that's very important. You can read more about that, but basically it filters for heavy metals like lead and mercury. It reduces the chlorine in your water. Also, it's filtering out organic chemicals like herbicides and pesticides and VOCs and different pharmaceuticals that are coming in through your water supply. Another very simple answer that is another option immediately to kind of make some immediate changes in this area is life straws. Life straws are a great, they're designed more for survival or, being out in the wilderness, but life straw is great. It's, you see that water bottle right there. It has a great filtration system that really minimizes chemicals. Their newest filtration also decreases lead, in different organisms, bacteria, viruses, and things. But it also really decreases chlorine, which is important to be filtering out of your water as well. So you can go to lifestraw.com and check out some of their products. But a lot of their things is just, it's just a great idea for you going to work. If you have filtration at home, but then you're filling your water bottle up at work or in other places, or your kids are refilling their water bottles at school, this is a great water bottle to send with them because they can refill up the water, and no matter where their water source is coming from, it's getting filtered before they drink it. So some great opportunities there. Number 3, household items. Let's keep moving here. So these are things that you're cleaning with: air fresheners, candles, your dish soap, what you're cleaning your floors or your counters or your windows with. These are toxins and they are made up of chemicals. So if you look at the back of any of these items, right, I would say pretty much all of them say on the back, if ingested, call poison control. Right. So that right there tells us like, okay, there's obviously chemicals in this and you may not be drinking it, but when you look at how you're cleaning your home, check yourself, especially right now during the midst of COVID. I would say people are cleaning with heavier cleaners far more often. And so if it says, call poison control if ingested, yet you're spraying the Windex over the windows and you're breathing it in, right? It's, you're breathing it in, which gets right into your lungs, which comes into direct contact with your blood, right? It's getting directly into your body. So if you can smell something, if you can smell the air freshener, if you can smell the candle, if you can smell your dish soap, if you can smell your laundry detergent, even the laundry detergent that makes your clothes smell better, right? That's chemicals. And the more that you can smell these things in and breathe them in, or you think about it like you're spraying down your countertop and then you're cooking food, you're preparing food, right? Like these chemicals are getting into our bodies. And there's a lot of different toxic chemicals that you will find on some of these. So these are the big hitters. These are the chemicals that you really want to stay away from, or that you want to be looking for when you're trying to find alternative, healthier versions of these products. So propylene glycol, DEA, is found in over 600 different household products. DEA was found to produce cancer in animals, and it's in 600 different household products. So you got to avoid DEA, toluene, parabens, BPA, EDTA, benzene, SLS. SLS is a degreasing, it's a degreasing agent that you will find in just anything that bubbles. It's a degreaser. SLS is a degreaser. It strips your hands of the good bacteria which is why it's oftentimes people, if you're using dish soap or hand soap that has SLS in it, your hands will get very dry. And because it's really wiping away the good gut, the good bacteria on your hands that's there, part of your immune system. It's used to induce mutation in bacteria, and it also irritates the skin. So really being aware of that one as well. Trying to find, hand soaps and dish soaps that don't have SLS in it. Chlorine, phosphates, fragrance is a big one. I think I hit most of those. So those are some of the big hitters that you want to be aware of. And I already mentioned that. So moving on, what can you do instead? We're going to give you some great ideas, because you're like, I also like a clean home, right? I like to clean down my counters and wash my windows, but I don't like all of the chemicals involved. So what I use, I remember being in chiropractic school when I was like, holy cow, I learned about how all of these chemicals are affecting our bodies. And I fixed it with buying 2 separate rigs. Norwex, if you haven't heard of it, they're microfiber rigs that have molecular silver woven into them, which is antibacterial, antiviral. And all you have to do is get them wet. There's no chemicals. You can wash them, reuse them. It's an actual substance that the molecular silver that's in there that is antibacterial, antiviral. And they clean your windows, like the polishing cloth through Norwex. All you have to do is get it wet, and it cleans your windows with no streaking. It's far better than Windex, especially when it comes to chemical usage as well. So check that out. Their EnviroCloths are antibacterial. I use these. Now I have a different cloth, so one cloth cleans the bathrooms, one cloth stays in the kitchen and cleans countertops. But there's some great resources. So Norwex in December, we're going to have a patient appreciation week where we will have a Norwex booth, so you can learn more about it. But it's an easy, great way to cut out a lot of chemicals in your home and still have a clean home as well. So we also are going to post some non-toxic cleaning recipes. So making your own cleaners, it's cheap and it's healthy. It's keeping your home clean without setting back your health. So we've got multiple different recipes for different types of cleaners around your home. So that is going to be your challenge this week. My challenge to all of you, and I remember doing this in college, I finally one day was like, all right, that's it. I'm drawing a line. I went and I got every, toxic cleaner in our apartment and I threw it in the trash. I got rid of it and I replaced it, like I said, with Norwex. Also with these non-toxic cleaning recipes will be super helpful. So that's my challenge to you, is to really cut out a lot of the chemicals. And this is why the EPA says that your indoor air in your home is more toxic than the outside air. I mean, think of all of the cleaners and the air fresheners and the things that we're spraying all around our homes to make it feel clean, right? We've been taught that, this lemon fresh scent makes, you walk into someone's house and it smells clean or it smells good. Anytime you can smell these things, it's affecting your health. So be aware there, make some changes. That's your mini challenge again for this week, is to cut out some of the toxic cleaners. So not only what you're cleaning your homes with, but the next thing is your personal care products. This is a big one. So the average woman puts over 200 chemicals on her body in the first 10 minutes of her day. So I want you to think about that. Think about, you get in the shower, you're washing your hair with your shampoo and then your conditioner and then your body wash. And actually, where was I that I was somewhere, I think it must have been a hotel, and I used the body wash there because I forgot to bring my own soap on this one trip. And I usually bring my own soaps, but isn't it crazy? Like when you think about, you use this, this body wash, and 3 hours later, after I was out of the shower, dried off, had gotten dressed, I smelled my skin and I could still smell the cucumber melon, body wash that I had used. And I was like, oh boy. So EDTA is a classification of drugs, that's not drugs, chemicals that are called penetration enhancers. You'll find this in a lot of cosmetics. So it actually opens your pores so the product gets into your skin deeper. So if you're showering and you can smell your skin and it still smells like cucumber melon 3 hours later, you might want to think about changing products because that means that actually got that product deeper into your skin, which of course we don't want to be happening. We don't want these chemicals and these products to be getting deeper into our skin unless they're fully natural, good oils or, essential oils are going to be a way better option for that fragrance and that smell. So Not only do you use all that stuff in the shower, then you get out and you're putting body lotion all over your body, and then you're putting on face cream or face wash, and then your makeup and your eyeshadow. I mean, we think about your your mascara, everything that we're putting on our bodies. Even for men, your toothpaste, your deodorant, your hair products. A lot of those things, they smell, they bubble, right? So you'll find SLS in your toothpaste, and aluminum has been found to be in your deodorant, which is a heavy metal that has been linked. The antiperspirant deodorants, they are linked to breast cancer and different cancers within the body. So we know that we want to minimize these things. So what can you do? Start buying better brands. And this can be daunting at the beginning and can feel like it's super expensive. So here's my suggestion. This is how I did it myself, is that next time your shampoo is gone, then go to ewg.org or look at one of the brands that I'm telling you here and change the brand. Buy a different brand. It cuts down on chemicals getting into your body. And then next time your conditioner is gone, replace it with a healthier option. Then your face wash, then your makeup. And a lot of these things, when you think about the bathtub analogy, a lot of these these products have been tested on animals, or they've been tested. So like the chemical, like the companies would argue that chemical is safe to be exposed to in small amounts, and it's only in small amounts in our product. But when you look at the onslaught of products that we're putting on our body and we're breathing in and we're ingesting in, that's where you can see the bucket can very quickly fill up and start to overflow. So buying better brands. I love 100% Pure. I use most their makeup through 100% Pure and the Honest Company. Using organic mineral makeup and just switching these things out. Also look at the products that you use the most. You're putting your deodorant on every day. That's probably something you should switch out right away. Shampoo, conditioner, lotion, toothpaste, makeup, those are going to be your heavy hitters of things that you want to change out. Another cool thing about ewg.org, you've got to check it out. It's called the Environmental Working Group, but they've got a cosmetic database. This is fun. So go home tonight, look at your shampoo, go to the database, type in the brand of shampoo that you're using, and it will rank that brand of shampoo or personal care product on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the worst. So I always search products. There's a Skin Deep app that you can actually get on your phone. So if you're at the store, you can check on different products right there while you're in the store. I usually try to buy things that rank in the green zone, anywhere from 0 to 2 on that scale. You know that you're going to be cutting out most of the heavy hitter chemicals by buying that way. So number 5 is cookware. Food storage. What are you cooking your food in? What are you storing your food in? This makes a big difference. There's a whole class of chemicals that are considered xenoestrogens. Plastic, BPA, for example, these chemicals, they mimic estrogen in the body. So any plastic food containers, anytime the steamer bags you see on there, oh, those drive me crazy. Never, it doesn't make sense to put something that's made out of plastic in the microwave and heat it up as it's surrounding your food. And I know, yes, they say BPA free, but we didn't find out about BPA until we've all had been, consuming out of plastic for years, right? So my mind goes to, so maybe they took the BPA out, but now what's it made out of, right? Commonly, it's made out of phthalates, which are also harmful to your health. So really trying to avoid plastic as much as we can, because here's what happens. These xenoestrogens, these chemicals that are considered xenoestrogens, they mimic estrogen in your body and they completely interfere with your endocrine system. So you can see in that picture there that a xenoestrogen can bind to a cell and carry out the same function as estrogen. Here's what's crazy. Breast cancer is skyrocketing. It's through the roof. We know that BPA is linked to breast cancer. It's a xenoestrogen. So most breast cancers are estrogen positive. Most people with breast cancer, they're estrogen positive, which means they have way too much estrogen floating through your body. So other things that can mimic that, certain genetically modified soy, different chemicals, most of the ones related to plastic, we know can mimic estrogen in your body and create too much, floating through your bloodstream. So if you're moody, if you're tired, if you feel like your hormones are out of balance, definitely something that you want to look at. How can I minimize these chemicals in my lifestyle? So the answer is just switching to glass or stainless steel or ceramic. So just get rid of the plastic water bottles. The Nalgene, I remember looking at my Nalgene that I drank all through college. I looked at the bottom of it. So here's the trick. When you look at the bottom of a of a container. Like I checked my Nalgene bottle when I learned this, and it has the little recycling sign that you see on the screen there. Here's the rule. Here's the rhyme: 4 or 5, 1 and 2. All the rest are bad for you. So if it has 4 or 5, 1 or 2 in that recycling label, then it's going to be BPA free. It's going to not have some of the bad chemicals in it. My Nalgene, I think it was a 3 or a 7. So it had BPA in it. I was like, dang it. So I had to get rid of that right away. But the easy answer here is just get rid of plastic. Store your food in glass, reheat your food in glass. There's a lot of different options out there, or stainless steel, your Hydro Flask, or the Life Factory water bottles are great options. And then also your cookware. So we don't want to be cooking with Teflon. It has the same effect. It has xenoestrogens. It's toxic. It's been linked to cancer. So I know the nonstick pan is really, really great. But just buy stainless steel, ceramic. I use La Creuset for an option there. It's a ceramic and cast iron are really some good options. And that just means you have to cook with a little bit more oil, which is good. So cooking with, good fat is good for your body. So coconut oil, grapeseed oil are things there. Number 6, what is in your food? This is a huge, huge area. We have got to cut this thing out. So you look at all of these things, it's artificial dyes, preservatives, chemicals. I call it fake food. Fake food, it causes damage to your cells. And remember, the more damaged cells that you have in your body, if your immune system can't keep up to repairing them and healing them, that's when cancer can establish itself. So cut out the artificial fake foods and artificial dyes. This is an example. You go to the drive-thru and you order the strawberry milkshake because it sounds healthy. Strawberries and milk sounds better than French fries. If you actually look it up online, these are the ingredients. You can't read them. There's no strawberries, there's no milk, right? It's very scary what all that is, but it's artificial food. And the whole reason we eat is to give our body the nutrients it needs to function. We're going to be diving into nutrition and detox, more specifically around nutrition in your diet in one of the upcoming weeks. But for now, cut out the chemicals. If you can't read it, don't eat it. And if you've already made those changes, here's how you go to the next level. The next thing, if you're eating real food, right, things that grow on this earth, the next question you have to ask yourself, what is on your food? So we know that you should eat the apple over the donut or the apple over the bag of Doritos because it grew from this earth. It's designed for you to eat. Unfortunately, in today's world, for mass food production, we are spraying chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, fungicides on our food supply. And you look at something like Roundup, let's say, or you look at a pesticide, right, that is designed to kill plants, right, and kill things or kill microorganisms, et cetera. Yet we are turning around and then we're eating it. Like it doesn't make sense, right? If you have your own garden at home, imagine yourself like spraying Roundup throughout your garden and then like picking off a cucumber and eating it. Like it just doesn't make sense, right? So that is why we need to move towards being organic. Glyphosate is it's the now most used agriculture chemical ever. And 5 years ago, the World Health Organization declared glyphosate as a probable carcinogen. Like it shows mutations. It shows, it's directly carcinogenic to the animals that they tested on. Again, spraying chemicals on our food supply just doesn't make sense. And, one strawberry has, traces of 15 different, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides on it. So this is why going organic is important. And if you're eating real food, that's the next step, is going organic. So you can start by looking at the Clean 15 Dirty Dozen list. Also, there's a whole chapter about toxicity in the Align Your Health book, which is a great resource to follow. But start moving towards organic. My first tip, this is what I did right away. If we consume a lot of a specific type of food, like, spinach or, strawberries or peppers, all of those things are on the Dirty Dozen list, which means they use the most chemicals on them to produce them. Those are for sure things that we want to buy organically, especially if I'm consuming them often and a lot. So spend the extra $1. It's worth it to cut out these chemicals and not being exposed to them. So number 7 is heavy metals. This is something that oftentimes it's out of sight, out of mind. Most people aren't even aware of it, don't even think about it. So personally myself, my mom's a hygienist. My sister's a holistic dentist. And when I was young, like I had amalgam fillings put in. And we now know what we now know about them. Like, yes, there is mercury in them. And so at one point I got mine taken out and replaced with the white fillings. Now don't just rush off and go do this. Because you need to follow a specific protocol if you're taking out amalgam fillings, because that process can be somewhat hazardous to your health if you're not careful. You need to follow a specific, detox program while you're doing that. And if you're going to a holistic dentist, they know that and they can help you guide you through that as well. But there's traces of mercury and high fructose corn syrup, which is in, most condiments and anything processed in our food supply. Another source that we don't even think about, vaccinations. There is thimerosal, there is still mercury. So again, when you think about filling up the tub every year, if you're getting the flu shot, like you're continuing to be exposed to aluminum, mercury are the big heavy hitters that you'll find in vaccines. So again, making an informed choice before you let those things into your body. Even some of the white fillings, I've learned this from my sister as she's a holistic dentist. Even the white fillings, a lot of them, they have BPA in them. So she right now is starting to use a different form of white filling of the composite that doesn't have that in it. So again, just being aware, like it's things that we wouldn't even think about, like, okay, I have a cavity, I'm going to get it filled. But yet you're putting something into your body that leaches into your cells and is affecting you as well. So go through that toxicity symptoms list. If you have any of those things, definitely something that you might have some heavy metals and lead, old paint and toys. Again, something even now that we're finding in our water supply, things that we want to reduce getting into our cells and getting into our body. So being aware of those things as well. So this week's mini challenge, here we go. So change something. Maybe it is buying a new water bottle. If you've been drinking out of plastic, just buying a glass water bottle. And that's going to significantly, reduce your exposure to BPA and other chemicals. Start buying organic food, start buying, anything that you're consuming on the Dirty Dozen list organically. Go out, splurge, or add this to your Christmas list, a new set of pots and pans. If you are using Teflon, I know it's easier to cook, but you've got to just draw the line because it's bad for your health. And we know that it's directly linked to cancer. Cut out your household cleaners, make a DIY cleaner. And this is going to be a fun week. We want you to take pictures of maybe your favorite natural product that you use in your home for cleaning or for a personal care product or for makeup. Let's get some ideas going and help each other out of different resources, that we have found. Take a picture, snap a picture, add it to the private group Facebook page, so we can all learn from each other when it comes to minimizing toxins. So this doesn't have to be an overnight thing. I know for a lot of people, toxicity is overwhelming. There's so many sources of toxins. Most people don't know where to start. I slowly transitioned over the course of a year. Like I said, every time I ran out of something, I bought a healthier brand. And I continue to do that until now. If you think about, if you can change out a lot of these products, household cleaners and personal care products, think about the amount of chemicals that you're now no longer being exposed to on a daily basis. That's helping keep your bucket less full, which is allowing your immune system to keep up to the real threats like abnormal cells or damaged cells that are growing in your body. So your immune system can continue to destroy cancer cells within your body. So make sure you're doing one of those things. So again, number one was shutting off the faucet, replacing those things. Number two, before we wrap it up for this evening, is draining the tub. Most of us, after you just heard all of that, we're toxic. Our bodies have been filled with chemicals and toxins over time. It is very important to detoxify your cells. So, most detoxes out there, you'll have diarrhea for a week. They're more like colon cleanses. Drink apple cider vinegar and lemon juice or whatever it is for a week. One of the best things that actually addresses toxicity at a cell level is the detox system. There's nothing else on the market like it. But the detox system, it's a two-part system. The way it works is basically what it does is it has all the precursors necessary for your body to build glutathione. And glutathione is the most powerful antioxidant at a cell level. And most Americans were deficient in glutathione. because our bodies have been bogged down by toxins over the years and different chemicals and things, medications that our bodies have had to detoxify from. So this boosts your glutathione levels, that binds to the toxins, it gets it into your gut. And then you take the body detox at night, which before you go to bed, which has binding agents to it that bind to those chemicals and toxins in your gut, so you actually eliminate them. You just want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water while you're doing this. Most people, you don't notice any crazy side effects or anything. If you do get constipated, you just need to drink more water. So it's a 1 month supply. The detox system is. And right now, because we're in week 3, if you come into the office and you buy the detox, just let us know that you were on the webinar, you were at the workshop for week 3, and you will get 10% off. If you've never detoxed like this before, I usually recommend doing it for 3 months straight to really get a good cleanse. And then, like personally, I do it quarterly. Even though I've cut a lot of chemicals and toxins in our life, I'm still being exposed. I'm still breathing air, right? So I want to make sure that I'm consistently getting toxins out of the body as well. So, do it for 3 months straight right away, and then do it quarterly, even biannually. Something is better than nothing there. So make sure you do that. And don't forget to record your attendance for week 3. So detoxifying, if you follow the action steps that I gave, you are reducing your risk of cancer. And, just to recap today, again, remember, we've got to look at what's causing these things. What can we do to reduce our risk? Number 1, stop causing damage to your cells. Number 2, continue to build a fearless, strong immune system, which is why you need to stay tuned for next week. Next week, I'm talking all about the one system that controls everything. There's going to be some surprising information, some empowering information. So you're not going to want to miss next week as well. So make sure to tune in, but make sure you record your attendance for this week. Text fearless to 952-229-8750. Thanks so much for joining us. And we are so excited that you continue to take strides to keep improving your health. So thanks for joining us today for week 3.